glorious leader Alabast. From the Oily Book, first chapter of the Chronicle of glorious leader Alabast, according to Saint Someone. Chapter 1. Far from the lands of old Alabatia, in times since forgotten, there arose a new king amongst the Gyros. His name was Palaiologos. He was a ruler whose wealth knew no limit, and it was said that even his pajamas were bedecked in the finest gold and the rarest stones. His glory shone brightly, but his face was marked with anguish. He wished in vain for a son, but his bountiful bevy of bodacious babes would only produce disappointment after disappointment. People of Donor had continued to raid the periphery of his empire and had begun to pierce deeper into Gyro lands. If only he had a young prince at his side, he thought, then surely he could drive the Donor horde back to Al-Kabab. One night, after an exhausting day of feasting and debauchery, Palaiologos did return with his many wives to their bedchamber. But, even surrounded by throngs of adoring concubines, the king did not sleep soundly. His body trembled and his head thrashed about wildly. The wives saw his pain, and did curse their wombs, lamenting, "How barren our loins, that they do bring our king no joy." Then at this cry a messenger of Kolob did appear. The messenger radiated a kind of sepia glow, his robes stained with the grease of Kolob. He spoke with the voice of about a dozen fairly loud men, saying, "I am the messenger of the planet Kolob. Your king's plea hath been heard. To one of you will be born a son." To this prophecy there was much jubilation, and after they had finished praising Kolob, the messenger did continue, "His name shall be High Kaiser Alabast, and to him shall belong all the world. This land of Gyros must pass, however, for the son's crown shall far surpass that of his father. When the time comes, ye shall place the boy into a wicker basket, and thy daddy's hand will guide him to the lands he is to conquer." This prophecy did confuse and trouble the womenfolk, and whilst they were caught in their chatter, the messenger did vanish. So came about what the messenger had foretold. To one of Palaiologos' harem was born a boy. There was no jubilation, for the tribes of Donor had besieged the capital of Gyros, and their troops had begun to break through the great walls of the palace. The king did send the boy away with one of its many mothers, who swaddled the babe in a purple robe of fine silk and placed him in a wicker basket. The pair escaped through an underground passage, finding a river whose banks were thick with fragrant hemp. Remembering the messenger's instructions, the mother of our oily High Kaiser did place him into the waters. A gentle current quickly turned into a fast stream, and the basket was soon far from view. The High Kaiser had traveled a great distance down the river before his basket was caught in the slightly less fragrant hemp which grew in the Alabastian dominion, a small yet prosperous realm ruled by the honorable Duke Andarpatari. The Duke's queen came down to bathe at the river, followed by her many sister wives. She saw the basket among the hemp and sent one of the lesser concubines to fetch it for her. When the queen opened it, she saw the child. His expression was as calm, and the finery in which he was wrapped impressed her. "This must be one of the Gyro's children, one of noble birth," she said. A wet nurse was fetched from among the wives, and the child was carried back to their palace. The queen brought him to her husband Andarpateri, and he became his son. His father named him Alabast, a name that means he to whom all belongs. The child grew and waxed strong and wise before mice and men, and Duke Ondar Pateri died, and his son Alabast ruled in his stead. And it came to pass that the Lord Alabast entered unto a village of Theologia, and finding the leaders thereof to be weak and unbelieving, he put its strong men to the sword, ordering that the council and their families and all their effects should be burned in their houses. And he called the name of that city Palaiologos, after the name of his father. And thus, in the first year of Duke Alabast, at the beginning of his reign, all the books and records of Palaiologos were destroyed. And the Duke, being unwilling to read or write, he appointed me to record the acts of the Lord Alabast, which he performed all the days of his dukedom. Thus is Chronicle of Alabast, chapter 1, from the Oily Book. Hail, glorious leader Alabast, and have a blessed, glorious Leader Saturday.